Good day, DoomTubers, and welcome back to another pseudo game discussion / review thingy, mostly just opinions. Today we're talking about one of the greatest games of all time, and that is Etrian Odyssey Untold, the Millennium Girl. Now, we won't spend tons and tons of time talking about different things in this game because I've already talked about it quite a bit. I've got a dedicated video for it when I played the demo. And all of those things still hold true. And also I talked a lot about it in my pickups video where I showed off this game and the box, which is right there, and then the CD, which is around here somewhere too, and the art book and stuff. But what I will say is just some basics, like if you're coming on to this video just to off of, based on the title, and you're not necessarily familiar with my channel. This is an Atlas first-person dungeon crawler, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And it's a remake or a reboot. I won't say reboot, just pretty much just a remake of the original Etrian Odyssey game, which appeared on the Nintendo DS. It was released in like '07 or something like that, and it's actually the only Etrian Odyssey game up to date that, the first one is the only Etrian Odyssey game to date that wasn't completely made by Atlas. Atlas released it, but it was actually made by somebody else. I'm really not sure who it was. I don't know. And clearly, if you play the first game and then play the second one, which I haven't played the second one, but I played a lot of the third one, there are quite a few improvements. I think that, obviously in the old series, the first game is considerably weaker than the later releases, which I know is, a good thing. That's the way it should be. The second and third game should be, more aesthetically better than the first, and yeah, they just made a lot of improvements. And I think that, after the fact, they released the second game, the third game, the fourth game, and I think Atlas just decided, hey, let's put a new coat of paint and put some new stuff and revamp the first game, since we didn't really, have a lot to do with it, I guess. And then we have this, which is quite amazing. This is an amazing, amazing game. I love the cutscenes. The one thing I will say about it is I thought that the cutscenes were too few and far between. Towards the end of the game, there was a few more, but for the most of the game, the meat of the game, there really wasn't much in the way of those cutscenes. There were, conversation spots. There was a lot of conversation in the game. There was actually quite talky at times, which is not present in any of the other Etrian Odyssey games. There is some conversation, for here and there between your party or your guild and maybe community members, like members of the town and stuff. But in this game, you have 5 set characters, and they have lives. They have conversations with each other. They all have unique stories. The only one that doesn't really have that unique of a story is the Highlander, or the main character, which, you are. You name that character, and you kind of pave the way. There's a lot of times where you'll be asked a question, and it's multiple choice answers, and depending on how you answer depends on which of the characters you build the best relationship with, and those sort of things. So I thought that was really, really nice. I really, really liked the character interaction, and the voice acting carried throughout. But it was always just, those couple phrases repeated over and over, where they would say a few words, but then you still have to read the subtitle because, they weren't really saying what the subtitle said. They were just saying something for the sake of saying something. I've noticed that in a lot of other games too. And I don't really care for that as much. I figure if they can do at least that much voice acting, why don't they just finish out the rest? Say what they were going to say. That's one thing I didn't like about Ni no Kuni too. Was like sometimes there was voice acting, and then other times you had to read a whole bunch of stuff. It's like they couldn't make up their mind whether or not they wanted these sections to be voice acted or not. But I'm not talking about Ni no Kuni. I'm talking about this game. But that really wasn't a downside per se. It didn't, make me mad. It didn't, upset me at all. It didn't even make that much difference. But I just noticed it. It's like, well, okay, whatever. So there is quite a bit of conversation in this, a lot of reading that you have to do. But I think that it's really nice. It's a nice change of pace for the series, which, quite frankly, has the potential to become pretty dry and pretty boring at times, just because of the repetitiveness of the gameplay, which personally I adore. I love the first-person dungeon crawler, and I love the map making, and I love the combat, but without these kind of story things, these story arcs that are going on in the conversation and stuff, that's all the game is these mapping, these quests and stuff like that, which is what the previous games were, which, caused a lot of people probably to not finish previous entries in the series. Like, for instance, there's a lot of people that I've heard that absolutely love Etrian Odyssey 4, but they haven't finished it. They put 20 hours into it, and that's about where they wanted to stop. That's about where the gameplay just became a little bit too much. Or I've heard a lot of times too where there's people that got to the end of the game and then there was a huge difficulty spike at the very end and then couldn't finish it still. But this game, at least on the easy casual mode, which is the lowest possible difficulty of the story mode, I put just under 40 hours into this game, 39 hours and 45 minutes, and I did a few of the pub quests and a few other side quests, but for the most part, pretty much just the story, the main story and quests that you had to do to finish the game. And but I'm going back to play some of the other stuff, but I'll get into that in a second. So I think that if you were to pump a little bit more into some of the side quests, and maybe do a little bit of grinding, because grinding isn't overly necessary on the easiest mode, because pretty much you're going to be strong enough just, going through and mapping and fighting with the monsters and stuff that you have to. You're pretty much going to be strong enough to beat the game. I finished the game with all characters right around the level 60 and 61-ish mark, which is plenty to beat the final boss. I won't go into too much about that. I will say, though, that if you were playing on even like a normal difficulty, like one step up, I think that the last section of the game is quite a bit harder, because I pretty much, on the easy casual mode, you pretty much skip the entire 6th stratum, I believe. And you pretty much just go straight from the 5th to the boss. Which, the 6th stratum, you're just looking for the boss, but it just tells you where to go. I didn't know that it was going to be like that. I didn't know it was going to be so easy. So, I think if you're playing on just even one difficulty setting up, the 6th stratum is going to be a little bit more difficult, and it will take quite a bit more time. So let's just say, if you're playing on easy casual mode, and you do a few more of the quests and the main story, it's probably going to take you about 50 hours to complete this game. I think that is a good mark to hit. I hit 40 hours, but like I said, I skipped a lot of the side quests, which I'm going back and doing now. There's a pub in town, and the pub owner has people come to her and offer rewards to complete certain tasks, whether it be like a fetch quest where you go and you find certain items in the labyrinth, where you go and kill a certain monster because it's giving them grief, or whatever their heart desires. The shopkeeper has some of the quests where you go and you find certain items for the shopkeeper, and then there's also like one where the shopkeeper wants to go explore the labyrinth with you, and you can take her along to different places in the labyrinth so she can see what's going on. And there's all kinds of quests like that. There's quite a few of them, and then all of them will net you tons of experience. Sometimes money, sometimes items, sometimes armor, and that sort of thing. And I'm going to sneeze. Maybe not. Yep, gonna sneeze. Whew. That was no good. Anyhow, like I said, I'm going back now and playing some of the side quests, and I am going to go explore the rest of the 6th stratum so I can see what I missed out on. I hear it's pretty brutal, but I can't wait to go do that. And then after I do that, I'm going to go and hit the classic mode. I'm going to go hit the classic mode a little bit, which is more true to the original Etrian Odyssey. It takes out the cutscenes and the voiceovers and stuff like that, which is fine because I experienced that and I'm thrilled with it, love it, and I'm going to go play a little bit of the classic mode, and I don't know, I don't think I'll finish the game in the classic mode. I don't think I want to, just because I want to play other things, but I'm going to experience it a little bit at least, just so I can kind of see for myself how similar it is, how similar the classic mode is to the original Etrian Odyssey. And I know that there is also a New Game Plus mode that I noticed last night that you can actually keep a lot of things from your first playthrough and play it again. It gives you a lot of options. I wish I would have spent a little bit more time doing it or looking into it, but I didn't want to accidentally hit New Game Plus and then actually start a new game because I do want to go back and finish some. Complete the for my first playthrough just a little bit more before I hit any other mode, which I think if you start a game in classic mode, there's not 2 game saves, so you'll have to erase your first playthrough, which is fine, but that's again why I want to spend a little bit more time in my first save, post-game, EO post-game, new game, before I hit New Game Plus or Classic mode. But anyway, I think you can save, I don't think you can save, your character levels or, your armor and weapons and things like that, but I think there is options where you can actually save your maps, so you don't have to map things again, so you can just, go and just blast through it, which is kind of cool. It's something to consider. I don't know what would come of it. I think you probably save your money, because there are games that do that, where your money pool kind of just carries over. I don't know. We'll explore it some more. I know I'm not done with this game. I'm gonna spend a good amount of time still with this game because I absolutely love it. And I know it's still just mid-October. But I guarantee you this is one of my Game of the Quarter picks, and it's going to be pretty hard to beat this game for Game of the Year. I love this game so much, and we'll have to really, really consider all of the games that I've beaten thus far and picked as my yearly games. But certainly this is the 2013 release to beat in my eyes. I love Diablo 3, but like I said before, technically it's not a 2013 release. I mean, it is, but the game itself is the same game that was released in 2012, just on a different platform with the obvious improvements and things like that. And I love that game. I absolutely adore it. But I think this is better. I spent more time in this. I spent 40 hours in this, and probably close to 20 or so with even with my New Game Plus. and whatnot in Diablo 3. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. I'm sure I've missed some stuff because, you know, this is a big game, really. It's very linear, you know. That's something I shouldn't have to say about a first-person dungeon crawler. I mean, it's not open world. I mean, you pretty much, you map out the floor you're on, and you head to the next one. I mean, that's pretty much what you got to do. Fight lots of monsters, collect lots of items, go to the shop, sell them, get money, get armor, get weapons, rinse, repeat, you know, that sort of thing. So anyway, I'm on the lookout still for Etrian Odyssey 4 for the 3DS. I really want to play that one too, especially after beating this one. I'm not really. I mean, I want to play some other games so I can beat some other games, but I'm not done with Etrian Odyssey. I love the series, and I love this game so much. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry about my nose, my sneezes, and all that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Doom Waves out.